Hey, good evening, everyone. This is Tuesday, the 11th of April at 7 o'clock GMT, UK time. I just want to say a huge thank you for those of you that have logged in for this evening. Really good to see you. I'm just checking in for my. Um, uh, oh, yeah, thank you, Pepper. Yeah, for me, that's good enough. One person, that's it. And you can hear me loud and clear. Just to say welcome to everyone this evening, those who will be joining in a few moments. And if you are watching later on in the week or in the weeks or in the months, just say welcome. Thank you for taking the time to listen in this evening. We're looking at social fitness. Good evening, Sonia. I'm going to define it. What social fitness is. It's really the development of good relationships over an 80-year period of better late. Okay, right. Let's not go there, Helen. Let's not go there this evening. Yes, indeed. Yeah, just say social fitness is really the development of relationships that a Harvard study over 80 years found what contributed to long life and healthy life was good relationships, which they term social fitness. There's also social fitness training that the military do. Thank you, sound engineer on YouTube. Thank you very much indeed. Yeah, if you know individuals who are not on any social media, but they'd be really interested in some of this, please direct them to YouTube. It's a bit of a strange handle at the moment. I'm trying to see if I can change it, but I'm not having much joy at the moment. It's at Dr. Delroy 5007. So it's at Dr. Delroy Hall 5007. Good evening, Jenny. So we're continuing with the social fitness, and somebody asked a question a few weeks back. Let me just share this. Some of you may see it. For those of you that may not be seeing it for the first time, of course, I agree with you for the majority of us, but we have to balance that with the good and bad habits of the relationship. I think sometimes we try to make family relationships work even when they are very toxic, just because the narrative out there is that families are the most important. Example, you have to love your mum, dad, sister, brother, so and so and so forth. Only it is the most important if it is anything if it's damaging you. I was only reflecting on that this morning, and she spoke about somebody who she knew who had had a really difficult past, which led them to bullying, drug taking, and so forth. And then I remembered quite clearly most of my work as a counsellor has been people who've had a really bad start, but they've come because they really want to kind of change of life. So my name is Delroy Hall. I'm a trained counsellor and trainer. I've been for over 30 odd years. And these hints and tips, they're just to help you along the way, but this does not compensate you going to see the doctor or you seeing a therapist or a counselor or a psychologist in terms of working through your situations or seeing a coach. And one of the things, of course, is that lots of us can get so far, but quite often we need some help to kind of get to the next rung. So let's have a look. Yeah, so I'll just share this, and in some cases it was the most beneficial thing I ever did was walking away from my family, and in some cases it really is. Over the years, I think I've shared, there was a young woman I was working with. I never met her. We did phone work, and as far as I know, she moved abroad, never contacted well, I did say to her, if you do go abroad, it might be, if you want to, saying you should, maybe once or twice a year, just send a note to your family to tell them that you're okay. You don't leave a forwarding address, but you don't have to. But for some people, escaping the family when you are of age is possibly one of the greatest things you can ever do just to survive. And that is just how it is for some people. So what can people do? So when you're a child, you're kind of there, you're at the behest of adults, caregivers, and so forth. But when we become an adult, we have a sense of agency. We have a level of self-control, what we can do. So what I've been talking about the last week, I started it, is about, it's called a life rule book. That's what, for some people, what they can do, wanting to change the direction of their life. They have what they call it's a rule book, and in the rule book they start to sketch out the direction in which they want to go, but they also keep a record of it. One of the things I know from personal experience, Pain plus reflection equals progress. Lots of people have lots of pain, but they don't reflect on it. But pain, reflection equals progress, and we reflect on it by asking questions. We spend some time interrogating the pain, quite often with pen and paper, with a journal, and to provide some insights in terms of helping us see past the pain, what things we need to do in terms of our behavior, and so forth. So the rule handbook is just a guide. I spoke about it last week. It's a guide for self-leadership. I spoke about that a few weeks ago. So if you're interested, I've got 3 or 4 sessions on self-leadership, but also it's also like a life manual, something you can go to time and time again. It gives clarity, and it serves as a guidebook. It's a great for living a great life, and it can serve as a book when you face a dilemma. One of the things I do know, and I shared with somebody this morning, that one of the things I know by keeping a journal over a period of years, I realized as time went on, and when things happen that you didn't expect, I was able to handle it far better because I'd spent so many years in reflection and kind of trying to tease out. So one of the things about reflecting, it really girds you up for the future. So when the unexpected happens in huge ways, you're able to kind of deal with it and manage yourself far better. So we looked at this kind of social handbook. So how do we create this handbook? Now, for some people, the handbook might not be helpful, or you've got the structure of a handbook, but then you tailor it to suit you. And if you're like me, that's what I kind of do. I'll, for example, if I cook, I might follow a recipe the first time as it is, but the second time I do it, I'll take a bit of that out, add a bit of extra this, and try the other. So I'm not somebody who just follows it all the way. So what I'm suggesting today may give you an idea, and you create your own format that really works for you. And that's what I'm about. What works for you that's going to help you to move forward in your life, change the trajectory of your life, change the pathway. You've had a bad start in life, but yet you're able to grab the ball by the horns, rest it in a new direction, and begin to follow it. Is it easy? No, it's not. It's hard work, but it's about you taking responsibility, being intentional about your development, and one step at a time moving forward to do what you need to do. So how to create your life book. I think it was last week I said this. I'm going to say it again just to, where is it now? Yes. These 3 questions, I'll just add it to the screen here, as I did last week. So it might be good if you have pen and paper with you. Question by Jim Quick. So because knowledge, so people talk about knowledge is power. No, it isn't. Knowledge and reflection is power. So and actually it's about putting the knowledge into operation. It's no point having loads of knowledge. You need to put it into operation, apply it, reflect on it. That's where the knowledge comes. That's where the wisdom comes in what we do. So if you've got a pen and paper, it might be good to write something down. 3 questions. How can I use this? Why must I use this? When will I use this? Really important in terms of learning, growing, developing, in terms of what we're looking at today. I think I saw a couple of, did I see anything by somebody? Yeah, good evening, David, and anyone else that is around. Yeah, really good to see you this evening. So how do we create this life book? So there's 2 ways you can do it. You either have a soft copy, which is either Excel spreadsheet, or a Word document, or you can do PowerPoint, or hard copy. That's a physical book, a journal, something that's really, really important to you, how you create this book. Remember, this is your book. I think I showed you a couple of weeks ago a journal that somebody sent me a few years ago. I'm going to change the world, and this is my plan. And I spoke to her a couple of weeks ago to say that I'd used it, and we had a really good conversation about it. So it could be you have the journal. On the inside of the journal is, I am going to change my life, and this is my plan. So you recognize that your start has been really, really bad. You've made loads of mistakes. You're aware that your past wasn't brilliant, but now you're beginning to think about moving in a new direction, and you want to do something about it. So either soft copy, Excel spreadsheet, PowerPoint, or Word document. And if you're very kind of suspicious about people, when you make these documents, put a password on it so only you know. So you go on it and nobody else can look at it. And certainly a hard copy is a physical book. I like handwriting, and certainly there's lots of work, lots of evidence that maybe handwriting is better as opposed to computer and laptop and so forth. But you use what helps you. So you then begin to fill in your life book. So what are some of these things that are really important? And some of it's actually quite self-evident, really. But I think just to bring us up to speed, if you want to create this life book, this is what you do. So you fill the life book with your life purpose. Remember, I spoke about an exercise last week, 80, 40, 20, 10, and 5, in terms of sorting out a vision and a future for your life. Again, if you want to know more about that, look at the previous week's session on the same thing about social fitness. I've got information there to help you. So your life purpose, and it's about taking time. Don't rush it. The author suggests you take up to 2 weeks, if not more, to think about what you're going to put in your life book. This is not something you're going to rush. It's never a completed book, but it's something you need to be very intentional about and take some time to think it through. Really important. And again, if you want to ask comments, ask me to stop, repeat something, please just put it in the chat box and I'll listen to you and I'll respond to it straight away. So in this book, you put in your values, and you might not even know what all of them are, but actually it's a work in progress. So you put in your values, you put in your strengths. You also write in the areas that you'd like to improve. And this whole thing is about improvement, self-improvement. Now, of course, some people are really good, they're self-starters, but quite often for most of us, we need somebody who we can be accountable to help us to think through what we're doing. So for some people, they get noticed to see a coach. And I was talking to somebody a couple of days ago that when I've excelled in my life and I'm doing athletics and the stuff I'm doing now, I need a coach that I go to. And yes, X amount of years been doing this, I still have a coach. I have a swim coach, and years ago I had an athletics coach. I've always excelled when I've had somebody who's going to call me to account. That's really important. And when I was working in the voluntary sector, I had somebody who I met every month for an hour at a time, who would ask probing questions of what I was doing. So it's really important. So in this book, you put your values, your strengths, the areas that need improving. Really important. Put in some life truths, some quotes that that really speak to you, quotes that kind of grab you by the throat, and by reading the quote, it almost makes you feel uncomfortable. And one of the things I've said about quotes, good evening, Jeff, and anyone else who's watching, welcome this evening. Thank you for taking the time out on a Tuesday evening to listen in to some hints and tips about developing social fitness, developing good relationships, and also if we have started off, if we've had a difficult past, we can do something about our future. Some of the quotes that really challenge us. Remember some time ago, I spent 5 weeks on a quote by Morgan Freeman. So some of the quotes are really challenging, and it's about unpacking them, finding out what the words mean, and then reconstructing it, and then asking those great questions. Where do I need to grow? What do I need to do? What courses do I need to do? What books do I need to read? How do I need to reflect on my experience? So the quote then becomes a living reality, and your book, the Life Rule Handbook, becomes a living reality as well. So these are personal quotes for a great life. Some people talk about having a vision board, where on this vision board you put images, pictures of things that you aspire to. AJ Jones, good evening, Mr. Hall. Okay, good evening, AJ. I'm not just sure who you are, but welcome. Thank you very much for being. I'm sure I know you, but I just don't know who AJ is at the moment. So, vision board, really helpful. I'll say a little bit about that in a moment. But also long-term goals: 5 years, 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, and then you put together your action plan. How am I going to do this? Oh, right. Okay. Right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Claire. Thank you, Pepper. Yeah. Got it. Right. Thank you. So, your values, your strengths, things that you need to develop, your life truth. These are kind of quotes, vision board, goals, 5 years, 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, and then your action plan. And in fact, somebody said this: if you set goals and it's easy to achieve, you didn't set them high enough. I think it was Zig Ziglar, he's passed away now, but he says you want to set goals that make your hair stand on end. And I would say a bit more. You want to set goals that if you ain't got no hair, your hair will stand on end. So it means that you need to set goals, so you're really going to have to reach for them. Now, I don't set goals as such. Well, the challenge that I've asked myself is this: Delroy, how far can you grow? And that's something I ask myself repeatedly. Delroy, how far can you grow? So some people they like the goals because it gives them something to aim for. But I'm continually asking when I do things, Delroy, how far can you grow? Incredible insight, challenging, but you want to set a goal that stretches you. That you need help, you need resources. Even on paper, you kind of wrestle with it and really kind of engage with it, and maybe look around and see and get the support that you need. Let me just say this: your life book will change. It will change as you become more enlightened, you have more experience, and as you reflect on the experience, it is never a completed item. It is continually evolving, because one of the great things about human beings, we are continually evolving. Once we start on the road of growth, of self-growth, of self-investment, of personal development, once we start on that road, we are continually evolving. And one of the great things, of course, is that we start this road and we don't know what we meet along the way. That's one, but also we don't know the opportunities along the way until we start walking. I think I might have mentioned an excellent book that I certainly read a few times, The Road Less Traveled by M. Scott Peck. And it starts off the first chapter, the first sentence, 3 words: life is difficult. And then he talks about people beginning therapy, wanting to change in really toxic relationships and so forth. And then he says he realizes when they have to change, for many people, they stop therapy because it's either too much, relationships will change, and so forth and so forth. But he says this: if you continue on the road less traveled, on that road you will find grace, mercy, love, truth, compassion that helps you to get where you need to get to. But you need to start on the road to get where you need to get to. But also you experience these things. And also, it's not so much the destination, it's the journey. It's who you become in the process, leaving a checkered past, a bad past behind, and who do you become in the process of becoming this new person. So this book is surely in the book, what you do is it's a guide. And each section, as I put values, strength, areas, and so forth, it's going to take time. Don't rush it. Take your time. If it means that you take a month out to just begin to put the initial stages of this book together, of your life book, it's really, really important. Do it. Your book is a work in progress. It should never be completed. It's a journey of discovery, it's exploration, discovery, new learning. And one of the things, of course, if we put new learning into operation, we apply new learning and we reflect on it, there's only one thing that can happen to us: we keep growing. And that's what it's about: growing into a different person, a better human being, shedding some of the old stuff from the past and moving into something new, growing and expanding. Really, really important. So your life is a journey. It's a daily discovery. And update your handbook daily with thoughts, ideas, new learnings, and the outcomes of new learnings. It's incredibly important. So in fact, in reality, at the end, it's never one book. It's a continuous set of books you develop over a period of time, but it contains everything that you're using and reflecting on that helps you to grow as a person, to move from that difficult past that you've had and to begin to move into a new direction. So what some people have also said about this book, this is your book, it's unique to you. You decorate the handbook as a visible representation of you. Okay, there's another book called, let's look. There's another book by Dale Carnegie. There is a book called, one of his books is it How to Win and Influence People? Yeah, something about, it is about relationships, how to win and influence people. I think something like that. I can't remember the name of it now, but if somebody's listening, please stick it in the chat. As soon as I see the title, I will remember it straight away. It's a book that I'm aware of. That's it. Friends, yes, How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's it. I think he wrote a book on public speaking as well, Dale Carnegie. Interesting guy, Dale Carnegie. But yeah, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I think Zig Ziglar, he wrote a book called See You at the Top. That's one of the books that he wrote. So you decorate the handbook that suits you. It kind of represents who you are. If you're doing a soft copy, make sure you back your thing up. Obviously now we don't bother with memory sticks now. We've got the cloud or the G drive. Really important. As you create the handbook, it will take on a shape and life that's relevant to you. So no two-person's rule book will be the same, but it will take on a shape that reflects you. It's about you. It's your story, and it's your story that's evolving, it's growing, it's taking shape, a new direction, new experiences. Some of the experiences might be unpleasant, and I've said in some of my training that some of us, when we're involved in leadership, some of our experiences are pants, go south, they're horrible, we made a mistake. Hold on a minute, put the brakes on. This is what you can do. Look at that, whether it's gone pants, south, terrible, awful, all that type of stuff. Put it down as a learning moment that if you reflect on it, yes, and if some of the experiences are really painful, and I say to folks, yeah, feel bruised for 2 or 3 days, pick yourself up, look at the experience, reflect on it, get the new learning, put yourself into a new direction, and get up and start going again. Really, really important. So that's your handbook. So after you created your life handbook, look at the handbook every morning. Really, Delroy? Yeah, this is your life, and you can't leave it to chance. So look at this book every morning before you start your day, review everything that's in it, and also internalize the information. One of the things I've said about leadership development and the stuff you're doing here, if we internalize these principles, we become better human beings. And that's what you want. You want social fitness to become a reality. You want new relationships. You want healthy relationships. You want new experiences. So all that is really important as you look into your book daily. Refer to it throughout the day. Because what it is it's a trajectory, or it's a pathway of your new life, moving into a new direction. Well, Delroy, this is hard work, but of course it is. It's your life, and I've never met somebody. Now, obviously, people take their own lives, and people get to a place where they're depressed. And people say to me, Delroy, I don't want to take my life, but if I went to bed tonight, I didn't wake up tomorrow morning, I'll be really happy about it. Folks normally have those experiences when they've had lots of bad experiences, because life becomes really, really difficult. But I'm really talking about having the strength, the wisdom, the courage to start looking at these things, reflecting on them, and then new learning comes, and then we apply them, we continue reflecting, and we keep growing. So refer to this book daily, because you're setting out a new pathway, a new trajectory. Update it constantly, put things in the book that's important to you. And in fact, what you might want to do, and I've done that with some of my notebooks, I don't start on the first page, but I keep 2 or 3 pages as contents page, so that when I put in a new idea or a thought, I just write down at the beginning, page so-and-so, sometimes a date, And this is a theme that I wrote about on this particular page. So instead of you trying to find what you're trying to find in a particular page, can't remember it, what you do then, you have a contents page, which is numbered. You number the pages in your book. And sometimes, say for example, if you're looking at areas that need developing, and it's on page 10. So you write through page 10, backside of page 11, and then you've got something else on page 13. So you've got to skip a few pages, and you find the next clean sheet, and you carry on the work that you're doing about improvement on page 30. So what you do in contents page, you write down page 10, page 11, and page 30. But what you do in the book, you write down on page 10, page 11, and on page 11, a little arrow, which you write 30, which says page 30. And when you get to page 30 and you start writing on that page, then you put a little arrow, page 11, so that there's a kind of continuity and you're not having to flick through your book to find out where did I write this or where did I write that. Really, really important. So I'm going to finish. If you've had a bad start in life, you had no power as a child, but as an adult, you have agency over your life. Make social fitness a reality. So the rule book can be really helpful for people, even if you don't follow it through, but it offers a guide that you then don't live your life by chance, but you live your life with a level of intentionality. Now, the action plan that you will have, you can't make it so rigid. There has to be a level of flexibility because life is so unpredictable. But it doesn't mean to say that life is unpredictable, therefore everything that happens is going to be bad. Life is unpredictable, but some good stuff can happen as well. So it's about being open. Here's a plan. This is the direction I'm going. I recognize there's going to be some obstacles. I'm going to deal with it. I recognize there's going to be some openings that I never even thought possible when I first started the journey. So here I am now on this journey, and some massive opportunities are happening. I didn't even see this one coming. So help make social fitness a reality. So your rule book, I'll just recap on the rule book, really important. It gives order, structure, gives a guide to maybe what you want to do. And then certain things you want to put in this rule book of yours, values, strength, areas that need improving, life truths that are quotes, vision board, your goals, and your action plan. And you might want to put some other things in for you that's really, really important. And then again, you either do your book either soft copy or hard copy. And then remember, take your time. And this is your book. You can talk to people what you want to do, but actually it's your book and it's your ideas that need to go into it about your life. Nobody else can live your life for you. People quite often have an agenda about your life, what you should be doing or not doing, and it's about suiting them, not so much suiting you. So that's really important. Decorate your handbook, and once you've created your handbook, refer to it daily, in the morning, throughout the day. Don't take long. Maybe something you're focusing on, just look at it, just to remind you, internalize the ideas, and certainly have a journal, do the reflection, new learning that comes into place, put it into operation, live it out, reflect on it again. And there's only one thing that can happen to you, is that you will keep growing. And that's what I want us to do. Let's just keep growing and see how far we can grow. So this is our last session on social fitness. I think about sessions, oh gosh, there's been quite a few, nearly 10, I think. Absolutely, I've really enjoyed it. Next week, we're going to start a new topic. Not unless, of course, somebody comes in with a comment which really kind of helps me think, and thinking, actually, yeah, I need to explore that a bit more. And certainly, I'm more than happy to choose the titles, but if it's something you want me to look at, let me know. Most of you have got my email address. Those are some of you know me personally. You can contact me. But I just want to say good evening to everyone this evening. So Jade and to Jeff, to David, and anyone else who's watching on a few days later, or a few weeks later, or a few months later, welcome and thank you for taking the time of watching these sessions, and enjoy the rest of your evening. and the rest of your week. And I'll see you next week on Tuesday, the 18th of April at 7 o'clock to begin looking at a new topic, a new subject about people development, self-growth, and how we can live better as human beings. So I wish you well. Oh, hang on. Who's this? Oh, here we go. Yeah, yes. Clive, yes, thank you, Clive. The advice to leave space for a table of content in your notebook is very good advice. I guess that you must also number the pages. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you have to manually number the pages. Certainly, that's something I've done in my last few notebooks. I got the idea out of the bullet journal. So basically, before you start writing it, you number the pages, but certainly save 3 or 4 sheets at the beginning. They're your content sheet. And then as you fill in pages, then you just make a little note of the content, and then some of the subjects might go over a few pages, and you just make sure. So, for example, as I said before, for example, you look at a particular topic, page 10, page 30, page 40. On page 10, you've got a little arrow that says 30 on it, and then on page 30, you'll have an arrow that says page 10, and then another arrow that says page 40. So in a sense, you can follow the consistency. Really, really helpful. Save you messing about and trying to find your space. Oh, right. Okay. Thanks, Jenny. She's off to reflect. Yes, I will be at the match next week, but as soon as I finish my session, I'm off. So it'll be in fact, yes. In fact, next week I'm doing a wedding blessing during the day, and then at 7 o'clock I will be doing this, and then at 6:30 I'll be off to the match, and so it'll be busy Tuesday next week. Anyway, everybody, enjoy the rest of your evening and the rest of your week. Take care, and thank you very much indeed. Thank you for taking the time. All the best. Speak to you soon. Take care. Bye.